Like most people, you may believe that winning a debate is all about studying the right facts and arguments to spit them at the face of your opponent, but if you can't get them to remain silent for long enough, then none of what you say will make any sort of impact on their mind. And the biggest criticism made against Andrew Wilson is that he's only debating complete idiots or highly unprepared people, which is an argument that first of all can be easily debunked with a simple Google search, and secondly, even if I know this is completely impossible, but if for once we could just get a side out of the left-wing versus right-wing battle, we can also notice objectively that many of the people who look foolish against him don't really look as foolish against other opponents, at least in debate. So it got me thinking that there was something more to learn about his communication style.
For me personally, what I'm looking for is
okay, finish. Don't ask me a question. Don't ask me a question. Answer my question.
No, I'm explaining to you. Okay, listen.
Don't ask me.
Is this inconsistent? I'm going to ask you a question. If I'm a lesbian and I only want to date women, but I make OnlyFans content for men, is that inconsistent?
Answer my question.
I think she's trying to.
No, she's asking me a question.
No, he's evading my point because
asking a question is not answering my question. Then I'll answer your question.
Your question has no bearing on this discussion.
Then answer it.
What was your question?
Okay, one more time, since you tried everything to avoid it.
The first three things he is almost always doing whenever somebody does not let him speak or doesn't wish to let him get his point across are, first of all, to slow down the tempo of his voice and lower even the tonality, and to put his hands in front of them, which is kind of a non-verbal command to stop, and he's using the commands as the third point: stop, listen, and calm down. He's going to repeat that at least until the person gets their brain back into a state where they are mentally able to process the content of the words he's saying.
But Andrew, over to you.
Yeah, so it is.
Okay.
So
oh my God, no, don't criticize what is so freaking obvious. What if he put a Nazi, he put a swastika on his forehead, you guys would be like, no, it's not what it appears. It's not what it appears.
Calm down, Saint, calm down.
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't interrupt you.
Andrea, go ahead.
By the way, it's great to have the old check back, by the way, just for the record.
Yeah, I didn't interrupt you, Snake. Just calm down for a second. Let me respond
go
very
ahead,
quickly.
Andrea.
And coming from a hypnotic background, I noticed many of his voice inflections really sounded like some hypnotic induction, but most of the hypnotists I know, they were trying to use that stuff to command somebody's mind in a therapy session where the person wants to be changed. I didn't really meet that many people who were able to use that in a real confrontation and to calm themselves down enough to get the person's mind to be quiet. Usually, even trained hypnotists, when they get into a confrontation, they just raise their voice and try to get the point across really fast because I want to be right, and they can't act as he does. And I know everybody who disagrees with him believes that they could just beat him so easily in a debate because they have better arguments than he does. But unless you have already found yourself in a heated political confrontation, you don't really know how tough it is to maintain somebody quiet and calm in your presence when they have strongly opposing beliefs to the ones you have, especially political ones, and still get them to listen. As a simple example, if you can just pause for a moment and remember for a second the most toxic, irritating person you have ever met in your life, the person who never let you speak. Have you really been able to silence that person? Be honest for a second. Have you been able to silence the most toxic person you have met in your life? I guess most people complaining about Wilson in the comment section haven't been able to do so.
No, I do disagree. I'm trying to show you something which is important.
So, okay, so here, right? I know you're married. I know you have your life together. But say you met a woman and you slept with her.
Sure.
And then 2 weeks later, you find out that she's a fully transitioned woman. Would you now consider yourself?
No.
Because he didn't know about it.
Of course not.
She deceived him. If he knew
that's a whole different conversation.
But if he
deceivement
knew,
is a whole. Deceivement is a whole different conversation. We're talking about the actual act.
No disclosure. Yes, it would be deception.
Like here,
yes, that's a whole different debate, though. I'm talking about you.
Sure.
If he knew it, he would have slept with her.
Wait, it's not, and I can prove it to you. Okay, we can just do a blind slit.
You were attracted to her?
No,
if you were attracted to her, are you gay because you were attracted to her?
I'll test the logic for you.
He didn't know.
You can take, let's say that you had, let's say you had a piece of cardboard, okay? Piece of cardboard and it had a hole cut out in it. and you were on a game show. And on the game show, they showed you a picture and said, this is the woman that's on the other end of that, right? And you're going to stick your thing through this cardboard, and this is what you're going to have sex with. And you're like, wow, okay? And on the other end, it was actually a man. Are you gay?
I wouldn't say you were gay, but
why not?
If you enjoyed it, then you might need to consider why you liked it.
Why not? Why wouldn't you be gay? Why wouldn't you be gay?
No, I'm saying if I know you were deceived, but if you enjoyed that, then you might need to consider your sexuality, because I feel like you should be able to tell the difference.
You don't know, though.
You should be able to tell.
How do you tell?
I feel like there's clear differences.
How do you know?
I thought you said that you should be able to tell.
How do you know?
And here we get into the slightly more technical stuff, because it is going to appeal to what we know as open loops, or opening loops in the conversation. When he said it's not, and I can prove it to you, this is a suggestion that I am going to make you change your mind, and this is an absolute certainty in my mind. Due to my voice inflection, I am sure that I'm going to make you change your mind, but I don't say just yet how I am going to do this. This creates an open loop in the head of the person listening to you, and an open loop is something the conscious mind can't stand, because our mind, our ego, needs to figure out what's going on, what's going to happen. If we can't control something, we are getting to a heightened state of awareness until the tension gets resolved. So by saying that something is going to happen, I'm going to tell you something that will make you love Andrew Wilson, and I don't say yet what it is. I let you ponder on that thought. Until I say what I had to say, even if in the end you disagree, at least in that window, that time frame, you are going to give me your full attention, because you don't know yet what I am going to say. Then, by using strategic analogies and hypotheticals, he's pointing out, like as usual, the flaws in the logic or the thinking of the person he's debating. Right here, in conjunction with the magical linguistics model, if you have sex with a fully transitioned woman, so a trans person, that means you're gay. Or you have some sexual issues, or like there is something to figure out about yourself. And the analogy is, well, if it was happening in a blinded game, as an analogy, then would that make you gay? And when she says no, obviously that is pointing out some flaw in her thinking. Every time somebody watches this, they think, oh, I would not fall into this. Yeah, but he could make you fall into another trap. Every time somebody believes they have the upper hand over him, he still finds the one weak point in their arguments that they have more trouble to defend against. But again, none of that would hit home if he was not able to get and maintain their attention first. When you just try to rush to get a point across and people just keep interrupting you in reverse, then none of what you say really has any sort of impact on their mind. And the other slightly technical way from a linguistic standpoint that he has of keeping and maintaining people's attention is whenever he's in a confrontation to mention the name of a fallacy or sometimes a philosophical concept to describe what they just said or what they just did, and by framing it as something either incomplete or literally incompetent, coming from an incompetent point of view. But when he mentions a term that they are not familiar with, that shuts their mind down too, because at least they first need to understand what he's talking about before arguing back.
This is actually
right to vote from senior citizens.
Yeah, so this is
probably overpower them. We could decide to
listen,
nursing homes.
Listen, you're making a pivotal mistake here. Yes, while it's true that they wouldn't give women credit cards, they gave it to the man, the woman could still go spend as much as she wanted to and never was responsible for the debt in the marriage, ever. No debtors ever came for her. She was never responsible for any of it. And the reason you think that this is why the world works is because of what's called standpoint theory. So what standpoint theory is it's a feminist theory which says that history, because it's subjective, women's history needs to be told only through the prism of a woman and how a woman thinks about it, rather than what's objectively true. So they'll leave stuff like that completely out.
Right there, among other patterns, what he used from the magical linguistics overview is what we call the meta frame, taking the higher ground and evaluating what the person just said or just did from a higher perspective, quite usually, as it is the case here, the perspective of a teacher educating people less advanced. Obviously, that is less easy to do against somebody who is on your intellectual level, but still possible, especially when you insert insert in the dialogue a concept or a term that was not mentioned so far and framing their entire argument or point of view under that new light, which was done here, for example, by enumerating the standpoint theory. Ultimately, he will strategically let people speak and sometimes also interrupt them in turn, up to the point where they get less and less and less comfortable arguing against him. Which again is so easy to criticize when you're safely, comfortably hidden behind your keyboard, complaining about people you don't like, who don't think like you, but that is less easy to do when you have by your side somebody of that level who can target the slightest possible vulnerable point that you are making.
Okay, so the Bible says that you can stone people to death. The Bible says that you can beat your slave until it's fine until he gets up. The Bible says that women shouldn't vote and read and all of that. So it doesn't matter that that is not particularly what happens now. That is what Christianity says is okay. So
you should be able to point to a bunch of Christian countries where women can't read, right?
Did I get my question out, Andrew?
Well, okay, go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead, Craig.
So take a deep breath.
Yeah, I'm sorry I interrupted your interruption. Go ahead.
Right. So Christianity has the Bible as its guidelines. And the Bible says that you can do these things. Whether or not that happens now is because people are moral in general, but it doesn't matter. Christianity specifically says that you can do these things and it's okay. So yes, it does. The Bible absolutely says that you can beat your slave. That it
Craig, I'm willing to engage with each of these.
So let me ask you, how does those specific things that the Bible say that you can do make it better for society? How does suppressing women's rights and women's ability to read and talk, how is that better for society? Because the Bible says that you should do that.
Okay, so let's take them one at a time. There is no Christian nation I'm aware of where women are getting stoned.
I didn't ask about Christian nation, let's be clear. But can you answer my question? I said, how does the Bible...
Yeah, is the debate over whether the Bible is true, or is it the effects of Christianity on society?
No, it's not. It's about which is better for society,
Great,
not the
which
effects.
Is better. So let's go over to which is better. When you're talking about what is better, when he says the Bible makes prescriptions that you can stone people to death, the Bible makes prescriptions that women be oppressed. The Bible makes prescriptions that women not be able to read. The Bible makes these prescriptions, right?
So how are they better for society?
Let's assume for a second the Bible does make those prescriptions.
It does, yeah.
And we just very stupidly, as Christians, misinterpreted all of that to mean the exact opposite, which must have happened because in all of these Christian nations, none of that shit's happening. Nobody's getting stoned to death, Craig, anywhere. Women in Christian nations.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I'm sure in all Christian nations, women aren't getting stoned to death.
Are you sure? Absolutely 100%
I'm absolutely sure, Craig.
So you're absolutely sure.
Craig, let me finish, Craig. I'm also sure that in Christian nations, women can learn to read. Where are women oppressed in Christian nations? Where is all this happening, Craig? So either all of the Christians are really fucking up their own documents real bad, or your interpretation of the documents must be really wrong.
To conclude, by remaining calmer or more disinterested as the person he is debating, he is also increasing the propensity of that person embarrassing themselves. Not everyone does, obviously. Some people have the same level that he has, so they can debate at the same level. But for anyone who does not, and even the ones who do sometimes get irritated because he has a way of pointing out the main thing you're going to be irritated by, at some point, this is going back to the oldest rule of frame control. How much do you have to lose in that interaction? What are you really playing in that debate, conversation, negotiation? The one who has the most to lose is gonna lose the most. As simple as that. Is your ego on the line? Are you playing something financial? What are you playing in that conversation? Why does it matter so much for you to win? In that regard, if you want to figure out how to debate on that level, or at least increase your skills in frame control, there was a chapter in my book Magical Linguistics, from which that model was taken from, that was talking about debating using several political examples from both left-wing and right-wing philosophies or ideologies, and showing you exactly how through language alone you can always get the upper hand in a debate. And that chapter normally is contained in the book. For a limited time only, you can access that one chapter for free down below with the link in the description. That won't remain free forever. It is a limited time gift only, so take it while you can. And with that in mind, thanks a lot for watching. I know some people still hate him. I definitely don't agree with everything he's saying. Nonetheless, I can find interesting points to study about his style of communication. And with that in mind, See you soon in the next video or breakdown.